With the transfer window now closed, it's that time to have a look at some of the squads we've been following here on the channel and just seeing, have they come out this window stronger than what they went into it? And one of the teams I was really, following with a keen interest this window was Wolverhampton Wanderers. I was really enamoured last year with Gary O'Neill. I think he's a fantastic first team coach. We've seen some speculation around him towards the back end of the year or even last season or into the summer. But this squad was always under a bit of distress with all the financial burdens that it gave itself over the last bunch of windows before Gary O'Neill. So he's always had a bit of a job over the last, 2 or 3 transfer windows. He's only had 2 really, hasn't he? Don't think he got much of that first summer from memory. But you're having to fix the sins of the past as well as reinforce the team for now, try and strive for better results and try and climb up the table. And Wolves, like last year, they were definitely one of the teams where their position on the table didn't really reflect the quality they gave week in, week out, as well as Wolves fans know better than anyone how crap VAR can be and how terrible referees can be at times, and they won't need me to remind them of that. But with 3 games into the season, the transfer window closed now, I want to have a look at Wolves and just see where they're at the moment. Can they do better than what they did last year? Actually show their ability, show their talent, their promise, whatever you want to think of it as, with their final result on the Premier League table in the 24-25 season. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We've just broke through 10,000 subscribers, guys. Thanks very much for all the support, and we're on the march for 20 now. And get into the comment section in this one and let me know if you're a Wolves fan or not. Can Wolves do better this year than last? I'll be really excited to catch the comments on this one. And yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, there wasn't too many headline moves for Wolves for me to follow throughout the window. Right up until the very end, right up until the last gasp of the window, they went and made some, last minute deadline day moves. Andre comes in from Fluminense, Sam Johnson comes in from Crystal Palace, and Carlos Borges Forbes. I used to know this guy has been called Borges, but since he's went to Holland and came back, he's now called Forbes. These 3 guys coming in right at the last minute, and neither one of them individually, Andre could prove to be a Bruno Guimaraes or a Lucas Paqueta kind of success story at Wolves. We've seen João Gomes already show some early signs of that in terms of the Brazilian midfielder in the Premier League, as it were. And on these moves, as I say, individually are headline makers, and I don't really know them all individually, as well as maybe Larson, who we featured on the channel before. But when we add them into the overall picture of the Wolves depth chart, the quality of squad and everything else they've got here, I'm getting major deja vu, kind of from this time last year, maybe when they didn't have the depth that we see here, certainly, but the best 11 they were putting out, they had some really promising performances at the beginning of last season. Maybe a bit more promise was showing then to now. But now when I look at this squad, it's not just a real quality first 11 they've got here, but the second string, the top 15 or 16 players in this squad, particularly at the front end of the pitch where games are won and decided, the goal scorers, there is a real variety of player here. There's a real high floor of quality and talent. And if they can get, I really do think, Harry Trades was saying it, Harry Trades and Sam Ty from Sky Sports, we were on, we did a live stream reviewing all the business of all the Premier League clubs. It's been timestamped. I'll link it at the end of this video in case you want to check it out. But Harry made a great point, and I really couldn't echo it loud enough. But Cunha being in this position is so optimal for Wolves. He's much better having a big striker in front, just any actual striker in front of him. When he leads the line, he leads the line well, but he does want to drop in here and link up play and make the attack happen. And having someone that's always going to be, pressing the back line and being available in the box for a quick turnaround. If it is in this little pocket of play, Wang goes on a bit of a run, goes by a guy real quickly. You need somebody already here. People can't teleport across the pitch, So I really do think that alone, the Larson thing, could be a twofold win here for Wolves. And the best 11, you put this team, this squad, into any other league in European football, and it's a top 5 squad for me. It really is so strong. Now, yes, the defence is maybe still a little bit ropey. We love Aït-Nouri, we love Semedo for how attacking they are. Doherty can cover both wings as a second string guy, and there's a bit of a wonder kid been signed, so maybe there's a wee bit of development there. And the centre backs, losing Kilman for big money, I think, has helped lubricate the transfer business for this window, certainly. But he's maybe been felt missing. I was quite impressed with Mosquera in La Liga last year, and I'm a bit surprised that he's maybe not quite hit the ground running as hard as I thought he might have this year. But maybe the defence and the goalkeeper position is where it's still maybe questionable Premier League status, if you know what I mean. Totti's fine. Dawson's fine. But, compared to the rest of the squad is very, very, very good. You know, even having guys like Sarabia and Gonzalo Guedes, who you guys told me would never wear a Wolves shirt again. Eating your words now, aren't you? Again, I'm a big fan of Guedes, and Guedes is actually great cover for Cunha. He can, especially in that loan move that he had last season at Villarreal, like, he was playing off of Sorloth, and Sorloth get great numbers when Guedes was in the team, and Sorloth made a big money move to Atletico Madrid as a result. So I wouldn't rule out Guedes maybe even filling in for Cunha if he got injured or suspended last 20 minutes of a game, that kind of thing. But we do see him more natively out here on the left, where Hwang is probably going to be first choice, and this Rodrigo Gomez is definitely one a lot of fans over that I hear from Wolves. Forbes is listed as a left winger, which just means this side of the pitch is just OP with cover. But I actually think Forbes, because of his goal scoring record for Man City B or whatever in the Premier League B or whatever the hell it's called, Elite Premier League Youth or whatever. I think he could be maybe the backup striker, as it were. Guedes could also be that guy in a different kind of guise, depending on how it goes. And we've seen Hwang play up front as well. So there's a lot of variety here. There's a lot of options for how they could cut it. Sarabia could come in here. Cunha could go up front from the bench or from the start. And Bellegarde is normally a centre mid. He's out in here in this kind of, I don't know if you'd even say a Phil Foden position, but we've seen this before in a 4-2-3-1 where one of these players is a midfielder, like more centrally, and you just see them naturally just hug the pitch a little bit more, frees up some space perhaps for the fullback to overload in possession periods. So again, look, as a coach, Gary O'Neill's a very good coach in my estimations. And again, Traore, Doyle, we've not even mentioned. There's so many options here. There's a good level of quality, a great degree of depth as well. And, Andre challenging the likes of João Gomez, who's very much box to box. And, like, how does he get into this midfield, really? Like, it's a very, very strong squad. And I think Wolves, for me, of 100%, despite losing, we've not even mentioned it yet, the best player in the team, I think people would have probably said, Pedro Neto off to Chelsea. I don't really think this team feels any weaker as a result. Now, Pedro Neto, similar to Michael Olise at Crystal Palace, has been that stardust, has been that difference maker on so many occasions. But the difference with Pedro Neto is he's not been ever present. And I suppose Olise wasn't completely ever present, but he was certainly more present off the top of my head, certainly my kind of recollection of things than Pedro Neto has been. And the quality that is still here in this front three, like, yes, Pedro Neto, if he was still here, would make it better, of course. But in his absence, I don't think it's much the weaker, to be quite honest with you. Kaladzic also seems to be on the books, and he's still recovering from a terrible injury, it seems. So maybe you see him towards the back end of this season, or whenever he's figured to come back into the fold, as maybe being like third choice or second and a half choice striker, just depending on form, fitness, and availability of the other players. But honestly, for a team that really haven't made any headline moves, I say Larson was sort of headline on this channel because I've seen a lot of them. Like, very quietly, the Wolves squad for me has went up a couple of notches, like, quite significantly. And in terms of how many goals they'll be able to score and how many different routes to goal they've got, how dangerous they can be against different opponents, they tick so many boxes. And defensively, like, they've got the option to play free at the back. Again, quite versatile, can change for different opponents in different game states and all the rest of it. Maybe the quality of centre-back overall compared to the league, and that's really what I'm using as the yardstick here. There is better defences out there at all sides of the game, really. Maybe they can still continue to develop and improve. Maybe Sam Johnson coming in, because goalkeepers are a very unquantifiable, element when it comes to the quality of the defence, because a goalkeeper 100% impacts the quality of the back four, but it's a really intangible kind of thing is probably what I'm trying to say. And I think maybe if O'Neill's picked Johnson and he's going to play him over Sa, which maybe seems to be the case so far, that might have like a knock-on effect to Totti, Mosquera, Dawson, whoever does come into play centre-back. And again, I've not really mentioned the full-backs too much, but Aït-Nouri and Semedo are definitely up there, top half of the table in terms of quality for attacking full-backs you've got, and they just offer, fantastic width and a real gung-ho mentality. And if you've got this really strong engine room in here of centre-backs that just are no nonsense and will just run the channel and recover, and midfielders that will try and snuff it out at source and really stop teams from transitioning with ease up the pitch. It ticks so many boxes. I'm just really excited about it, and I feel like I'm repeating myself. So I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. I'm really excited for Wolves. I definitely think they can do better this season than they did last. And if they do that, they're going to be chapping on the door of European football. And with how competitive the Premier League is at the moment, that is quite hard to imagine right now, is who is going to be on the hunt there for top 7, top 8, however it's going to shake out with, UEFA coefficients and cup winners and all that caper. But like, it's a really wide open Premier League. There's so many teams out there that do show promise, do show ambition. But Wolves, for me, have been one of the most flawless, without maybe doing huge business in the transfer market. So I think it's definitely looking bright for them. On screen now is some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy, including that live stream I mentioned earlier before with all the timestamps that you'll need to find the club discussion that you're after. Don't forget to jump into the comment section on this one. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, of course. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.